You lied to me all this time. Arthur's voice cracked as he sat beside her hospital bed, his wrinkled hands trembling as they held hers. Margaret's eyes fluttered open, weak and fading, but filled with the same love he'd known for 80 years. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Not with words. Not yet. They were the golden couple, married in 1943, the kind of love people wrote books about. Through war, poverty, the death of 2 children, and the rise and fall of nations, they stood like old trees in a storm, weathered but rooted in each other. Every morning, Arthur brought her tea with honey. Every night, she kissed his forehead and whispered, "Good night, my love." And not once in 8 decades did he ever question who she was. Until the day he opened the box. It was a plain, dusty shoebox tucked away in the attic, marked with fading letters, "Do not open." He wasn't snooping. He was searching for a locket Margaret wore as a girl, something he wanted her to have with her when the time came. But when he lifted the lid, what he found didn't just surprise him, it broke him. Inside were aged letters, brittle photographs, and at the very bottom, a birth certificate. His eyes scanned the faded ink. The date, 1942. The mother, Margaret Holloway. The father, James Whitmore. Arthur's heart stopped. That was 1 year before they were married. And James Whitmore, that was Arthur's best friend, the one who died in World War II, the one who never made it home. He stumbled down the stairs, holding the box like a live grenade. Margaret was dozing in her bed, her breaths shallow, her body paper-thin beneath the sheets. He sat beside her and whispered, "Who is James Whitmore?" Her eyelids fluttered. A single tear slipped down her cheek. For the first time in their long life together, she couldn't look him in the eyes. "He was my first love," she whispered, the words dragging from her lungs. "And your best friend." Arthur's chest tightened. His mind raced through memories, shared cigars, war stories, childhood mischief. James had been like a brother. And Margaret? Margaret had loved him first, before the war, before the world changed. Before Arthur ever got the courage to tell her how he felt. "I was pregnant when he left," she said, tears rolling silently. "I never got to tell him. He died before he knew. And you loved me anyway. You stepped in. You never asked questions. You just held me and said everything would be okay. You gave me a second life." Arthur's mind reeled. The son he raised, their son, wasn't biologically his. He'd taught him to fish, helped with school projects, paid for his wedding. He had loved that boy unconditionally. And all this time, Margaret had carried the weight of a secret that could have destroyed them. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, his voice barely a breath. Margaret looked at him with soft, ancient eyes. "Because you already loved him. And I loved you too much to lose you. I spent every day of our life trying to be worthy of the gift you gave me." Silence swallowed the room. Arthur stared at the woman he thought he knew completely. His heart ached, not with betrayal, but with the staggering realization of how much pain she must have buried to protect the life they built. The way she looked at their son. The letters she burned on cold nights. The way she cried during war films. It all made sense now. He turned away, looking out the window, watching a bird land on the sill. Peaceful and unaware. After what felt like hours, he turned back to her and said, "You should have told me. I would have stayed anyway." Her lips curved into the smallest, most fragile smile. "I know. That's why I fell in love with you." 3 hours later, Margaret took her last breath, her fingers curled softly in his. And in that moment, Arthur felt something he hadn't expected. Peace. Not because the secret didn't matter, but because the love they had was real, even if it had started with silence. He never told their son the truth. He placed the birth certificate back in the box and buried it with Margaret. He didn't want to change the past. He wanted to honor the life they made, not the secrets they hid. Every Sunday, Arthur visits her grave. He talks to her like she's sitting beside him, tells her the news, laughs at their old jokes, and always ends with the same words, "Thank you for choosing me." Because in the end, it wasn't about who she loved first. It was about who stayed, who built, who carried the love through fire and silence and time. So love isn't always born in purity. Sometimes it's born in ashes. But what makes it real is who stays. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a karma in the comments below.